Everyone, it's Yuto from tbsp.com, and today I'm gonna show you how to make an easy and delicious dish called Tenshinhan. Tenshinhan is basically a crab and mushroom omelette served over rice and drizzled with a sweet and sour sauce. It takes about 40 minutes in total and serves 1 to 2 people, so let's get straight to it. The first step is to measure out 100 ml of water and add 2 dried shiitake mushrooms. Simply leave them to soak for about 20 to 30 minutes or until they're rehydrated and soft. I'd also use this time to cook some rice. This recipe calls for 200 grams of cooked rice, which is about 100 grams or 2/3 of a rice cup before cooking. If you want to learn how to make Japanese rice without a rice cooker, check out my video. After about 20 or so minutes, your shiitake mushrooms should be soft, so take it out of the water, but do not throw the water away, we'll use that later. Cut your shiitake mushrooms into thin strips like this. Now I have about 20 grams of spring onion. First I slice it horizontally like this, and then it's easy to cut into a fine dice. We want about 1 tablespoon worth. Next I have about 30 grams of imitation crab, and I'm just gonna shred it using a fork. You can use canned crab or even fresh crab if you prefer, but imitation crab is cheap and also adds a nice color to the dish. Okay, all the ingredients are prepared. Let's move on to the sauce. Take a small saucepan and heat on a low setting. Add 15 grams of butter and let it melt. I'd say this is about 15 grams and I'm using unsalted butter. Once it's all melted, add 2 teaspoons of soy sauce and mix them together. Now add 200 ml of chicken stock soup, half a tablespoon of light brown sugar, and a pinch of salt. Turn up the heat to medium and bring it to a boil. Let it boil for about 1 minute and then add half a tablespoon of rice vinegar and 1 tablespoon worth of slurry. I made the slurry by mixing 1 tablespoon of cold water with 1 teaspoon of potato starch. The slurry will thicken the sauce and make it glossy. All we do now is keep mixing and wait for it to thicken up. There are actually 2 types of sauce used for Tenshinhan. Tokyo style tends to be a little sour and uses rice vinegar, whereas Osaka style is more savory and swaps the vinegar for sake. I'm making Tokyo style this time. Once it looks like this, take it off the heat and set aside ready for serving. Finally, it's time to make the omelette. Take a mixing bowl and crack in 4 eggs. I recommend using pasteurized eggs for this dish as we're going to serve them a little bit runny. Whisk them until they're combined. And then add the shiitake mushrooms, spring onion and crab sticks. Whisk again, and then we're gonna add 1 tablespoon of the liquid from the mushrooms. Then I'm adding 2 teaspoons of Japanese mayonnaise, 1 teaspoon of grated ginger paste, and a pinch of salt and pepper. Whisk it thoroughly, and then it's time to cook. Take a non-stick pan and heat it on medium-high. Add a drizzle of oil, and once it's hot, add all of your egg mixture. You should use a pan that is about the same size as your serving plate. The trick to get a great texture here is to whisk it around while it's still running, and then stop when it starts to set. Do this for about 30 seconds as we don't want actual scrambled egg. Once it looks like this, turn the heat down to medium and continue to heat until it's half cooked. The perfect omelette is one that is soft, fluffy and very slightly runny. Even when you take it off the stove, it will continue to cook in the residual heat, so it's better to slightly undercook. If you prefer your eggs well done, you can flip it and cook it on the other side. Otherwise, let's take it off the heat and dish up. Serve up the rice in a deep dish or wide bowl. You kind of want a mountain shape like this, then carefully slide the omelette over the top like this. Next, pour your sauce over the top. Finally, we garnish with a few green peas for a final pop of colour. And that's it, easy and delicious Tenshinhan. If you enjoyed this recipe, be sure to like this video and check out my channel for more easy Japanese recipes. If you'd like to support my channel, feel free to subscribe too. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video.